It's been banned for nearly 40 years, but now Ivy League school Columbia University is voting this week on whether to allow a naval military officer training program back on campus, also known as Naval ROTC. With us for a fair and balanced debate are Avi Edelman, spokesman for Columbia University's College Democrats. He's against having the Naval ROTC return due to the military's don't ask, don't tell policy. And Learned Foot is here with me from Columbia Students for NROTC. He believes they should be welcomed back. Gentlemen, thanks so much for being here. Avi, let me start with you. Why exactly are you opposed to the NROTC coming to Columbia campus?
Well, really, this is just a simple issue of discrimination. The military currently has a don't ask, don't tell policy that prohibits the open service of gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender service members. And at Columbia, we have a non-discrimination policy. We don't allow any program, any institution that that discriminates against portions of our student body. So to bring back that program would put in place discrimination on our campus.
All right, got it. Learned, why do you support having ROTC on your campus?
I do support NROTC being on campus. I think that don't ask, don't tell is discriminatory and that it's wrong. One thing, though, is that it's not a military policy. It's a federal law. The only way to change don't ask, don't tell is by working either through Congress or the Supreme Court. So to me, excluding the military for something that it can't even control doesn't make sense. That's
a good point. You know, Avi, it sounds as though you're sort of penalizing students who would want to be involved in the NROTC and, in fact, get the benefit of getting a free Columbia University education because they, of course, offer financial aid and scholarships when it's really a Department of Defense policy. Why penalize the students?
Well, it's not actually penalizing the students. Students at Columbia do have access to magnet ROTC sites. So Columbia students can participate in Air Force ROTC and in Army ROTC at other New York schools. The only reason they can't participate in Naval ROTC is because of access issues with that school, not because Columbia won't let them. And to me, it's not penalizing the students. It's in upholding our community values. We have a non-discrimination code, and it's not okay to bring any institution that violates that and discriminates.
Okay, Learned, does Avi have a point? Columbia University students can go elsewhere. They just can't get the NROTC on campus.
He's absolutely right that you can go elsewhere for the Army and the Air Force program. The reason that this is about the Naval ROTC program is because Columbia students do not have access. The closest option is over an hour away, and over an hour away, it's very difficult to get to, and that's why this has been about the NROTC, which is the program that was originally kicked off of Columbia's campus to begin with.
So it's not good enough that they would have to travel an hour away. I mean, you really want it right there, accessed immediately on campus. Meanwhile, you all have had an online survey polling students for a week now. It ends tomorrow, if I understand correctly. Avi, if the majority of students want it back, if this poll shows that they want it back, will you give up your opposition to it?
I won't give up my personal opposition, and it's important to remember that even if the majority of students vote to bring it back, it still has to go through other levels of bureaucracy. It still has to go to the University Senate and then to the trustees. And for me, the vote is really symbolic, and I'm hoping that my peers at Columbia will vote to uphold our community principles and say, right now the military, though it's a great institution and though it's important, has a discriminatory policy. And until we remove that policy, we can't bring it onto campus. We can't subject our students on our safe space on campus to a policy that violates their human rights.
Learned, what do you think is going to happen in this online survey? You have your finger on the pulse of campus, how it feels. What do you think is going to happen tomorrow?
Well, I would say absolutely that there's two avenues to go through. Avi is absolutely right that we should be fighting don't ask, don't tell. I believe the way to do that is through the federal level. As for the ROTC on Columbia, there are different levels that we have to go through. It then goes through the Senate, then it goes to the Board of Trustees. So there's multiple levels here. But as far as fighting don't ask, don't tell, you fight that on the federal level.
Gotcha. All right. Well, gentlemen, thanks so much for being here and bringing this to our attention. Avi Edelman, Learned Foot. Keep us posted. Let us know what happens this week at Columbia. Thank you.
Thanks.